What up? What up? What up? What up? I am Vibrant, and this is another episode of The Vibrant Truth. So, I decided to set up while I'm streaming because I don't want everyone to think everything's perfect and you don't have issues as a streamer. So, I'm setting up while I'm streaming. Here we go. It's just what we're going to leave it at right there. Okay, so you see what the title says, knowing your worth. Okay, so there's many subcategories to that title, but we're gonna get into different categories, different subcategories, and all that other stuff and everything like that. So knowing your worth. Knowing your worth means knowing your value in life, knowing your value in any situation that you may be a part of. People will devalue you at any chance they get, right? No matter if it's friendships, relationships, marriages, which we're going to touch on in this video at some point in time, relationships and marriage and all that shit. We're going to touch on all that, right? So here's the thing. People have a tendency nowadays not to see value in others, especially if they can't get nothing worth anything out the other person. So, with that being said, when do you say enough is enough, right? How can you say, hey, this person's taking advantage of me, right? So, with that being said, if you feel you're being taken advantage of, that's when you have to stand up for yourself and know your worth. So, being devalued is never something great. It's never nothing good, right? When someone's devalued, it makes them feel like shit, honestly. So, now we're going to get into some topics, into some subjects, or whatever. I want to start off with the relationships first. Start off fast and then cool down. So, knowing your value, right? Like I said, means letting people go, even some people that you love the most. Trying to get a good angle here. My son keeps messing with my camera. There we go. Knowing your worth, right? So, unfortunately, not all relationships, but unfortunately, in some relationships, someone is undervalued, right? Or if not both, is undervalued. My issues with being undervalued in a relationship is simply this, right? You tend to, it tends to become one sided, right? Regardless if you're both undervaluing each other or if it's just one person, it tends to become one sided. And what I mean by one sided is simply this. Hey, hi Piccadilly, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. What I mean is simply this, right? You actually put your all into a person, and people make mistakes, but you put your all into a person, and no matter what you do or no matter what mountain you try to move to make that person happy, it's never enough, right? So then that's when the undervalue starts coming into play, right? They start taking you for granted. They see you as an asset that's always going to be there. They see you as a piece of the puzzle that can't be removed, right? So then they start getting complacent and you start getting more and more down on yourself because you feel like you're being undervalued and you can't figure out why. You're doing everything that you possibly could think of. You're racking your brain, but you're still undervalued, right? So there's going to come a time where you have to ask yourself, is it worth being undervalued? Is it worth going through the mental anguish, the emotional anguish that you go through? See, the problem with people is, and the problem with relationships, not all, but most, is people forget to fall in love with themselves first, right? And I'm a victim of that myself. Like, I put my all into my partner to the point where I started losing myself and I didn't even realize it. So you can't support someone else or love someone else the way they're supposed to be loved if you don't know, or if you can't love yourself the way you're supposed to be loved. Because how you love yourself is how you're gonna love somebody else, right? So if you don't think very highly of yourself, your quality of love is not gonna be on the level that it should be for someone else. If you don't have the self love for yourself, then you're not gonna have the love for someone else. You're not gonna value someone else's time and attention and mind and spirit and all that stuff. My opinion of most relationships now is that's the key part. Everyone talks about communication, communication. Yes, communication is important 100%. But what you must not forget is simply this: even though you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship, you're still individuals. You still have to love yourself so you can love your partner. You still have to find value in yourself, value in your life in order to find value in your life together, find value in your partner, find value in the marriage. I'm not going to sit here and say marriages and relationships break up because one person cheats or they just can't get along or whatever. Yeah, people do grow apart, people do fall out of love. What I think is the reason why people grow apart and people fall out of love is because they forget when they're in a relationship, they're still an individual. So she's putting all her energy into you. You're putting all your energy into her. You're not putting no energy into yourselves. So in time, you get run down and you start asking yourself, what are we even doing here? What are we doing? I'm tired. I'm putting all my energy into him, and she's putting all her energy. I said that wrong. He's putting all his energy into her, and she's putting all her energy into him. They're just basically running on E for themselves. A relationship or a marriage is not going to work like that. I mean, yeah, there's always underlining other problems like communication and trust and all that stuff. But that's what they focus on. And they forget the fact that they're not focusing on themselves. And a lot of people get upset when you're in a relationship or a marriage or whatever, and one partner says, I need some me time. So I'm going to go do this by myself. Or I'm going to go in another room by myself. Or I'm going to take a drive by myself. It's like, Once you hear that term by yourself, you start going absolutely crazy, right? Because all you hear is by myself. Hey, Blackout, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by, brother. I appreciate you. So, what people fail to realize is in relationships and marriages, you do need your me time sometimes. Just because your partner says, I need to do this by myself, or I need space, or I need to do this, or I need to do that by myself, there's no need to panic or freak out. They say it takes two to make a marriage or a relationship works. Yes, it does. But those two people also need to take time to put energy into themselves as an individual. You need to know who you are on your own before you can identify who you are as a team. Because if you both have different visions and different paths that you want to take, then that's not a team, right? So when a lot of people say, I need to do this alone, or I need a me day, or I need some me time, people start to freak out, which it's a natural reaction. The person you love or the person that you're with is saying they need to be alone. So you instantly start to worry. Did I do something wrong? Does she have somebody else? Does he have somebody else? Is this it? Like, are we on the road to break up? Like, it's normal to be paranoid. How you handle the paranoia is what's gonna make you or break you. And like I said before, I don't do these shows just to do these shows. I talk from experience. I talk from witness. I talk from a place of knowledge. There's been plenty of times I've been told I need space. I need to do this on my own. I need some me time. I freaked out immediately. I'm not even gonna lie. Immediately. But at the same time, that's because I don't I didn't have no value in myself. That's because I was insecure about myself and putting so much energy into the relationship. I lost me somewhere and I didn't even realize it. So then when you take a step back and you start trying to find yourself again and you start trying to figure out where you lost yourself in the first place, if that partner is not secure enough with themselves, then that's going to cause a problem because all types of thoughts is going to go through your partner's mind when you're just trying to find yourself, right? And by no means am I saying I'm secure with myself now. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is simply this: I'm more secure with myself than I was a few years ago. But really, a lot of these people, and let me just say, there's a lot of successful relationships. Hey, Redbeard, what's going on? Appreciate you for stopping by, brother. Let me just say, there's a lot of successful relationships and marriages and everything like that because they have the key ingredients: communication, trust. They know their worth. Cool. I congratulate those relationships and those marriages. I'm happy for them. But a lot of the younger people now that wants to get serious, the first sign of trouble, they quit. The first sign of rough waters, they want to throw in the towel or they want to start window shopping. A lot of marriages tend to do more harm than good. My ex-wife is a perfect example. She in a lot of situations and it turned out to be toxic on two levels. Yeah, that's exactly, exactly. It's like you have those people. Like I said in the beginning before you came. Hey Chevy, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. It's like I said when you before you came in, Blackout, right? You put all your energy into your partner, and your partner puts all their energy into you, or vice versa. You putting all your energy into your partner, but your partner's not putting energy into you. So you putting all your energy into your partner, into the marriage or into the relationship, that you forget who you are. You forget to put energy into you. You forget that even though you're in a relationship or a marriage, you're still an individual. You still have to put energy into yourself in order to have the energy to make the marriage or the situation work, right? So if you're constantly putting energy into your partner and your partner's constantly putting energy into you, you're not putting energy into yourselves, it's going to start getting tiring because it's going to start feeling like work all the time. Because she's trying to put energy into you to make sure you're good. You're trying to put energy into her to make sure she's good. But then there's never no relax me time. There's never no, okay, I want to do this for me. She does this for her. Like, let's take streaming for example. Blackout and Redbeard, you guys stream. That's what you guys do because you love it, because it's something you're into. It's your thing, right? That's you putting energy into you. Outside of the marriage, you're putting energy into you. You're rejuvenating yourself. You, you're having fun with your communities. You're doing something that you like and not something that we like or they like or us likes. It's something that you like. So that's you putting energy into you in some way. Thankfully, my wife allows me to have my me time, especially when I have really tough days. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the key things in in a successful marriage and or relationship that people forget about is me time. Everyone and trust, which is all very important things. And you can have all of that until you're blue in the face. But if your partner's not willing to give you me time, or you're not willing to give your partner me time, then all the trust and communication in the world is not going to be effective. For the simple fact of the matter is all your energy is going towards each other, and none of it is going towards yourselves. So if you can't come to an agreement where, hey, I need this day or this time or this hour just for me to decompress from everything. And I just need to be alone. I need to watch TV. I need to stream. I need to go on a drive. I need to go on a jog. I need to go to the gym. Whatever. You start feeling barricaded and you lose who you are quickly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I was saying before you guys hopped in. Yep, exactly. What people shouldn't and can't do, and like I said, I'm a victim of this myself. I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I'm an open book. I do these shows because I want to help people and I want to bring light to my shortcomings as well. People cannot make their partner the center of their universe 24/7. And I've tried to do that several times. And look where I'm at now, right? So you put all this energy into your partner because in your mind, your partner is that one puzzle piece that'll that's not supposed to ever be removed, right? Your partner is that one puzzle piece that's supposed to keep the whole puzzle together. So you put all your energy into that puzzle piece to make sure the puzzle stays together. But by you putting all your energy to that one puzzle piece to make sure the puzzle stays together, all the other puzzle pieces are starting to separate and you don't even notice it because you're putting your energy on that one puzzle piece. So once you start to learn how to evenly disperse your energy into all the puzzle pieces, I've been married for 4 years, man, and I'm still trying to find a happy balance between my two hobbies and family time. Family time will always be number one, but I want to dedicate my time, my limited time, into things I want to do with my life. Yeah, it's it's a it's a learning curve thing, and I feel like a lot of people don't want to take the time to figure out that learning curve. A lot of people just want to say, okay, hey, well, I do this, so I'm going to do that. And you just have to deal with it. And that may be a temporary fix. That may work for a month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever it may be. But then someone's going to end up being unhappy. Either you, because you're sacrificing time you feel you should have to yourself for your partner, or your partner because your partner's going to feel like it's just time that's forced and like you don't really want to be there or you don't really want to do with what they're doing. So you're just there just so they can be happy. Finding a happy balance takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of practice. It takes a learning curve that's going to take time. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to put time and effort and work into finding happy balances or being happy, period, when relationships get rough. Like I said before, I said in the post earlier, this podcast was going to piss some people off, and it probably will. And if the wrong person watches it, I'll probably be in a lot of trouble. But hey, I know a lot of people who got divorced over this type of shit. Knowing your worth is 50%, valuing yourself and investing in yourself, the other 50% is doing what's best for your partner. Yep, exactly. And 150% can't work without the other 50%. So you can't substitute that 50%. So if you're saying, okay, I got to put 50% into my partner, you can't say, fuck the 50%, I got to put into myself. I'm just going to put the whole 100 into my partner. Because guess what? That's going to get tiring after a while. Not saying you don't love your partner, not saying you don't want to be with your partner, but eventually you're going to start asking yourself, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I'm constantly doing things that my partner wants to do. I'm constantly down behind my partner. I'm constantly with my partner. Like, who am I? What's my identity? And vice versa. If you take the 50% away from your partner and focus only on yourself, then can you really say you're in a relationship? Can you really say you're in a marriage? Because it's really all about you. It's really all about you. So you're pretty much in a marriage or in a relationship with yourself. And self love is important. Don't get me wrong. Self love is very important. Because if you can't love yourself, you can't love nobody else, they say. Right? But my opinion on that is simply this: if you love yourself, it makes it easier to love someone else. Because you already love yourself. There's no more work that needs to be done in that department because you know you have the unconditional love of yourself. And a lot of people say, well, that makes no sense. The love of yourself is just you. Yeah, exactly. It's you. You're going to make sure you're good. You're going to make sure you're happy. You're going to make sure that you're safe. No one's going to worry about you like you're going to worry about you. So that's self love. And if you worry about yourself the way you're supposed to, and you take care of yourself the way you're supposed to, and you do the things for yourself that you're supposed to, guess what? It naturally comes for the person you love because you see them as an extension of you. So if you don't want to go through something, you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure your partner don't go through the same thing. Because essentially, y'all an extension of each other, but you're still individuals, which I feel a lot of people forget the individual part. Once they get really serious and they hit a year, 2 years, whatever, all that other shit, then they start forgetting that they're an individual there. They have their own likes. It's always the female doing everything the guy wants, or the guy doing everything that the female wants. And then eventually someone blows up and gets tired of it and asks, how come we never do what I want to do? Or how come we're always together? Or how come everywhere you go, I got to go? All that could be avoided, in my opinion, if you just take the time to realize that even though you're in a relationship, you're still an individual. My grandpa told me the best thing you can have in life is a successful marriage. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, even though I'm at the bottom of the barrel right now in that department, I still believe in it. You know, I believe people can change. I believe shit can turn around, shit can happen, or whatever. But at the same time, speaking of change and turning around, I feel like a lot of people get confused with these two terms, right? So you have this term, my man needs to fight for me, and my man fights over me. Here's the thing, right? And I may sound like an asshole for saying this. I don't mean to be. This is just how I am. This is just how I talk on certain situations. For my wife, even though we are where we are, for my wife, I have no problem fighting for her. I, however, will never, ever fight over her or any other female. Because it comes to the point where if you're in a situation where you have to pick between me and someone else, then please pick them. I know my worth to know that I should never be in a situation to where you have to choose me or another guy. I have my faults. I have my shortcomings. But I tell you one thing, I'm one hell of a guy. So if you have to sit there and think about who you want to choose, then please, I'll make the choice for you. You can go with them. And that may sound like me being an asshole or me being arrogant, but I'm not. What I won't do, again, is sit here and allow a female or anyone to make me an option. Anyone that's close in my life or that's close to me, they're never an option. Fighting for someone and not fighting over someone is 1000% different. Fighting for someone means you have the best interest at heart. Fighting over someone means you have to split their interests that aren't strong enough to dedicate to one person. Exactly. Yep. And I feel like a lot of these, I'm not trying to sound sexist, but it really happens with the females. So most females, I feel like most females get that confused because they'll look at their boyfriend or their husband and they say, "Oh, you're gonna let that man talk to me like that or act like that to me, and you ain't do anything. Listen here, sweetheart. I love you. I love you to pieces. But you can't expect me to go and fight any and everybody because they're gonna say shit. Yeah, I can have a conversation with him. That's fine. I will defend my wife verbally in any situation. But to expect a man to fight or get physical in every single situation, that's really a thin line for fighting for you and then fighting over you. Because, for instance, a guy tries to holler at your wife or flirt with your wife and you're not around. She's in one store, you're in another store. She comes to you when y'all meet up. Hey, that guy right there, blah blah blah. He hit on me. Okay, I have no problem talking to him. You're gonna get hit on when you're not with your husband. You're gonna get hit on when you're not with your wife. I'll go talk to him. Hey, listen, that was a little disrespectful. She felt uncomfortable. No, she's married. Like, I'm her husband. Like, I understand she's attractive. You can keep your comments to yourself. Now, see, that's always the first step. Always, in my opinion. I feel like nowadays most females expect you to just go and punch guys in the face. And for what? For what? Because if you're not fighting, that means you don't love them. Because if you're not willing to get violent, that means you don't love them. never really understood that scenario or that logic or that thought process. But at the same time, it goes both ways because there's some females that if a woman looks at you the wrong way, they go off. There's no there's no 0 to 100. They're straight 100. Like they go off. And for what? In my opinion, if you have girls checking out your husband and they don't say anything, listen to what I'm saying. If a female checks out your husband with their eyes and don't say anything, and if a guy checks out your wife with his eyes and don't say anything, I personally feel like it's kind of flattering and it tells you that you have one attractive looking partner. There's there's ways to do things that's respectful and there's ways to do it that makes you an asshole, right? Everyone has eyes. Eyes are gonna wander. There's some people that feel like once they're in a relationship, they don't need to look at nobody else. And that's cool too. But for the most part, people's eyes wander, especially in public. So to get mad over someone looking at your partner, I feel is a little bit crazy. People might disagree, and that's fine. Me personally, I feel it's a little crazy to get upset if someone looks at your partner. But, you know, to each his own. Now, what I will say is this: once you get to a point, once you get to a mental capacity to where you 100% know your worth and you won't accept anything else, people will say you're an asshole. People will say you're arrogant. People will say you switched up. But guess what? You're just realizing you're worth more than you originally thought, and you not taking anyone's bullshit anymore. So the shit you used to take, you're not taking anymore because now you know you're worth way more than you originally thought, and you're worth being treated better than you've been treated. And that's everyone's prerogative. Like I said, when certain situations happen, most people can't think logically. Can't validate your self worth in the eyes of other people. It's not who you are. Exactly. Exactly. So I said it in a description. I'm gonna say it now. Knowing your worth means eventually you're gonna have to cut some people off. And some of those people is gonna be people that you love dearly. People that's really close to you. But if they can't understand your self worth, like you understand your self worth, then they're not needed in your life. And I mean, it sucks because you have to cut off some people that you're really close with sometimes because they're not seeing the vision that you see for yourself. And everyone's not supposed to have the same opinion. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is simply this: if I have a vision for myself, if I have an idea in my mind of what my worth is, right? As someone close to me or someone that cares about me and loves me on the level that they're supposed to love me, dude, when I first got married, friends that had for 10 plus years told me I changed. Yeah, you damn right I did. I'm married, husband now. I can't do shit. Yeah, that's true. And I'm glad you say that. You said that because I feel like a lot of people say, oh, well, They just feel neglected because, we used to do this and we used to do that, and now that I'm married, that doesn't fit my lifestyle no more. No bullshit. They don't feel neglected. They're jealous. And I say they're jealous because if they wasn't jealous, why would they say you changed since you got married? It makes no sense to say you changed. I can understand them saying since you got married, you've gotten more sensible, or the things you was interested in, you're not interested in anymore. I can understand those statements, but to say you changed, that's pure jealousy and that's pure hate. Because understand something: when you get married, that becomes a priority. Like, I don't think people realize, or whatever, and that goes for family too. Because, like I said, my sister, if you will, can't get the concept that when you're married or when you get married, your wife becomes your family, right? That's been the concept since the beginning of the time. When you're married, your wife, or if you're a female, your husband becomes your family, right? Your parents could be alive, healthy, strong, and kicking. If something happens to you and you can't make a decision for yourself, they don't give a fuck if your parents are alive. They're going right to the spouse because that becomes your immediate family. So, with that being said, my sister couldn't get that through her head and figured I was supposed to drop everything I got going on in my life when she called me. Now, let me explain before everyone says, well, that is your sister or whatever. Let me explain. So, I am the youngest of four from my mom. Four. I am the youngest of four. So, there's me. Well, I'm the youngest. So, there's my sister that passed. Then my brother, who did the podcast with me a couple of times. Then the other sister, then me. Right? So, I've always been the nurturing type, the person to help, the person to lend a hand up if you need it, right? No problem. So, with that being said, my sister got a little too codependent on that, I should say. And it leaded into every time she was in a tough situation, it was call me for money, call me for a place to stay, call me for whatever it may be, right? And that's my sister. I helped or whatever and all that other stuff. But then it came a point where it's like, okay, number one, I'm the youngest. You shouldn't be freely coming to me all the time to help you out with your financials. Like, you should have been set up. I mean, I'm not set up, but I made a lot of more different, smarter choices than she did. My sister's the type of person where if she can get a handout, she'll take it over getting it for herself. That's fine. Teach his own. But anyway, back to the story. So she failed to realize that once I got married, my priorities changed. Yeah, you're still my sister, you're still my family, but my wife is my immediate family. There's things that have to be put into place for us as a family before I can venture off and say, okay, well, I know you don't have this, I know you don't have that. I got you. Priorities change when you get married, and that's even with family. So your priorities change with friends, your priorities change with family, your priorities change with life, period. Even your routine change once you get married. There's shit I'm quite sure people did in the mornings when they were single or before they got married that they don't do anymore when they're married. That's just how it goes, right? So I don't know who that is. Uh, what's this? Okay, I don't know who that is, but whatever. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So people need to understand that when you get married, priorities change, and if they can't really accept it, then I don't know what to tell them. I mean, honestly, if they're anything but happy for you, are they really your friend? Are they really for you? And I mean, I know a lot of people would say, well, you say that all the time because you have trust issues. Nah, I'm being serious. Ask yourself that question. If your so called friend or your so called brother that, you know, or sister or whoever it may be, a person that's really close to you, if they're not happy for you when something good happens to you, are they really for you? Because let's just be honest, right? There's a difference in making sure as a friend it's something that you want to go through with and trying to convince you that you shouldn't do something. So here's my thing, right? Damn, four. So here's my thing, right? If something good happens to me, and let's say, for instance, I hit up Redbeard, and I'm like, hey, blah, 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 yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, cool, man, congratulations. I'm happy for you. Like, are you sure that's the right fit for you, though? Like, you feel comfortable with it? You're good with it? Like, you researched it and everything? And I say, yeah, man, I did my diligence. Like, it seems like it could be a good fit. I'm going to try it out. That's someone being a friend. That's someone saying, hey, I'm happy for you, but did you look into this? Did you look into that? Did you look into, what could happen if it doesn't work out? That's a friend. Now, let's say I hit up Blackout and I tell him the same thing. He's like, oh, cool. Congratulations, man. You sure you really want to do that, though? Like, is now the best time for you to do that? Like, you got this going on, you got that going on. Like, I don't think you should do it at all, bro. Like, I think you should just pass on it. And I say something like, well, I did research it or whatever, I looked it up, I talked to people or whatever, and it seems like it's a good fit. Nah, man, I don't think it's the right time. Like, you're not set up mentally, you're not set up emotionally, that's gonna take a lot of work. You have a full time job plus a child. Like, I don't think you should do it. Like, you should just like totally tell them no and like just wait like a year or two. Now I have to ask myself, is he looking out for me? Or is he just trying to sabotage me? Because to ask where Redbeard was like, oh, congratulations, just make sure you looked up everything and you did your diligence and, just make sure you're covered on all fronts. And Blackout's giving me all these reasons why I shouldn't do it and I should just say no. Like, sometimes, and I'm not saying that, either response is wrong, but more like the second response, you have to wonder, are they really looking out for you? Or are they just trying to sabotage you? Or are they just trying to keep you at the level they think you should be at or keep you at their level? You have to ask yourself that. That has nothing to do with trust issues or anything like that. Like I said, sometimes people will tell you who they are just by having an actual conversation with them. A normal ass conversation. people will reveal who they are. Rather than you asking them or grilling them, have a normal conversation with them. Just a normal, run of the mill conversation. Most of the time, people will reveal who they really are to you in that conversation. And I say within the first 10 minutes, they show you who they really are in an actual, just plain old conversation. Now, I don't know if they're still in here and active, but I'm closest with Blackout and Redbeard that's in here right now. So I'm gonna ask them from the time we met to now, have my demeanor or my outlook or how I've presented myself ever changed? Like, did I present myself as something different when I first met you than I am now, or have I always been consistent? Oh yeah, because when I first met them, I was quiet as shit. I was intimidated. I'm not even gonna lie, in a good way, but I was intimidated. So I was a lot more quiet when I first met them, a lot more. But I mean, I feel like if you meet someone and their ways start to change as time goes on, that's something you got to question. If they become indecisive as time goes on about the smallest shit or about the stupidest shit, that's something you have to question. Because honestly, here's the thing, right? As much as people want to believe that there's more good than bad out here in this world, it's not. Bad disguises itself in many ways. It could be right in your face. It could come in the form as a friend. It can come in the form as a family member. It can come in the form as a coworker. It can come in the form as pretty much almost anything, right? But here's the key to that. You can tell when a friend has bad intentions or bad vibes or bad thoughts towards you, just for the simple fact of when something good happens to you and you tell them about it, they won't stay around long. They won't converse long if you're talking to them on the phone or if you're texting them. It won't be it won't be long. Not long at all. So if I say to if I say to Blackout, hey man, I just got a promotion at work. Like it's gonna be extra $1,000 in my paycheck every week. And he's like, fucking A, bro. Like, congratulations. Like, you fucking deserve it. You bust your ass at that shithole. Like, I'm glad you finally noticed. And 2 hours later, I hit up Redbeard and I'm like, yo, Redbeard, I just got a fucking promotion. It's an extra $1,000 a week for me. And he's like, good for you, you fucking bastard. I'm still at my fucking job making the same thing I'm making, and you call me and tell me you got an extra $1,000. Who the fuck you think you are? Or he may say something like, "Oh, cool, an extra $1,000 a week. That's a lot of money. Hey, let me call you back. I was in the middle of something." So now I'm sitting here asking myself, is he upset with me because I busted my ass and got what I felt like I deserved? Or did he really have something to do? I know that first response would be your response. That's why I said it. So these are just little flags that people forget to look for. And like, I know how Redbeard is, so I wouldn't take it as, oh, he's not happy for me. That's just how he is. But like, I'm saying for people who don't normally talk like that, you have to ask yourself, mm, do they really want me to prosper? Do they really want me to keep going higher? Do they really want me to reach my ceiling? Because I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people don't realize or don't think of. You can bust your ass and do everything you need to do or everything you feel you need to do to get to the next level. But if you have those people that don't want to see you progress, that don't want to see you rise, that don't want to see you prosper, guess what? All your hard work is going to get you nowhere because you have all that negativity around you. You have the negative people in your life just in your ear constantly. And at first you can ignore it and you can keep pushing, but guess what? Eventually it's going to take its toll on you. And the only way to get rid of negativity is to cut it off at the head. So this goes a lot back to me saying sometimes you have to cut people off even if it's a person that's really close to you. Because I look at it like this, right? A friendship is like a plant, right? You have your plant, they have their plant. If you're watering their plant, shit, when I was in the Navy, I was getting out, he came up to me and told me he got his separation orders. And I said, that's just fucking great, huh? Get a rotten shithole. Get fucked, man. That's fucking great. And congrats. I like saying shit that shit to people. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's people that actually have that personality, but they're actually genuinely happy for you. And then there's people that just say that shit because they're haters, but they want to. It's kind of like a back ended compliment or back ended congratulations or whatever. But I mean, like I was saying, if you constantly water your friend's plant so they can grow and they can prosper, and they're constantly coming over, kicking your plant over, stepping on your soil, not giving you sunlight, not giving you water, how are you going to prosper? You may prosper in life under those circumstances, but are you going to prosper mentally, emotionally, and spiritually with someone trying to stomp on your success like that? Absolutely not. The true success is when you can elevate yourself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. When you can do that 100%, all three, all three, when you can get all three elevated, the physical should have come easy. The real life should have start to fall into place. If I tell someone good news and they give me a backhanded comment and it's an actual backhanded comment, would you tell them don't hate me because I'm doing something great? You sour ass. Yeah, that's one way to handle it. Yep, 100%. Do you ever feel like after you say that to somebody, do you ever like go back and think and be like, damn, are they really hating on me? Like, have they been hating on me for X amount of time? Like, should I have even been telling them good news in the past? Because, like, now I feel like they just been plotting on me the whole time. Oh yeah, definitely shameless. There was no shame in that plug at all. But yeah, so like there's there's friends and then there's friends, if that makes sense, right? Because like I'm gonna take it back to something that everyone can relate to, so it's not too difficult. Let's talk about streaming, for instance, right? Yes, no one's obligated to go on anyone's stream. No one's obligated to watch anyone's stream. No one's obligated for to give bits, subs, fucking raids, hosts. No one's obligated for none of that, right? But like I said, there's a crew, right? There is a crew that travel around and support each other, right? So whenever Redbeard's on, I'm there. Regardless if I come in at the beginning, the middle, the end, I'm always there. Once I see he's on. Got friends that you can talk to, got friends that you can fuck and give shit 24/7. You don't keep friends about everything. They need your friends. That's true 100%. 100%. Now, like I was saying, I'm in Redbeard stream. I'm in Blackout stream or whatever. They're in my stream when they could be in my stream, right? Those are friends. There's, hey, Traylon, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. That's another one when he was streaming. Didn't matter, didn't matter what. If Traylon streamed, if I could be there, I would be there. When I stream, if he could be there, he'll be there. Those are friends. Like I said, no one's obligated. Correct. No one's obligated. But at the same time, this is the crew or the circle that supports each other 100%, no matter what, right? We don't ask each other for bits. We don't ask each other for subs. We don't ask each other for hosts, raids, nothing like that. Just being in each other's streams is all we need from each other, right? But then you have these friends that hit you with we're supposed to be friends and you're not even in my stream, you don't sub, you don't give me bits, you don't fucking give me follows, you don't do none of this, you don't give me raids, blah blah blah. I mean, seriously? Like, how is that a friendship? This all goes back to knowing your worth, right? So I tell Blackout and Redbeard all the time that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this streaming shit. And that's the God's honest truth. I mean, yeah, there was there's another guy that I'm friends with that told me I should stream, and I tried it out. But after watching Redbeard and Blackout, they are what got me to stick with it, right? And like, to be honest, Traylin's the one that got me comfortable with using a camera because I used to stream without a camera because like I didn't have the fancy backdrop and the lights and shit like another streamer that I'm friends with had. So I'm like, you know what, fuck that. I'm not gonna use a camera. But then I would watch Traylon streams, and he just had a regular setup, you know, sitting in one of his rooms streaming, having a good ass time. Bro, the worst friends to have are the friends who guilt trip. Like I got a friend who has no problem spending no shit 400 on weed, but hits me up for gas money to go to work at Amazon. Place that pays you $18 an hour that you live up the street from, that you get 40 hours a week at. Eat gas money, get fucked, dude. Wow, that's crazy. That is, yeah, that is a person that you have to question if they're really a friend. Yeah, those friends that ask, beg, demand bits, subs, donos, and actually friends. 100%. Yep, exactly what I mean. Yep. So, I mean, Yeah, if you ever see one of us, you're probably going to see the rest of us. So if there's something that we're doing together and one person decides to leave, we're probably all going to leave. Or if one person's part of an event and we can't be a part of it, we're probably all going to be watching or chatting or doing whatever we need to do to support aside from being there if we can't be there. Facts. See, financial friends have top those say. Yep, that's true. That is true. So, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, I gotta. Uh, you wouldn't have to ask me for a beer. It'll already be waiting. So a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, a few people, wonders why or how come when one of us does something, everyone follows. So I even got a message the other day that asked, how come we all follow each other and stuff to places. Here's the thing, right? It's very hard to make genuine friends in the streaming community. It's very hard to make genuine connections because everyone has an ulterior motive, regardless of the fact if it's to get you to follow them, to get you to sub to them, to get you to give them bits, donos, plug their channel, whatever. A lot of people have ulterior motives, right? So when you meet someone and you create a genuine connection, that's not something you want to lose, right? Especially in a world that's so cutthroat and backstabbing or whatever. Your friends are your friends. You cherish that, right? So, but it comes to a point where these guys that I mentioned, they're more than friends. They're family. So yeah, we tend to stick together. We tend to do a lot of things together. We tend to make sure we have each other's backs. I don't see nothing wrong with that, honestly. I think if more people was like that in the streaming community, I think the streaming community will have a much better quality of life and a much better stigma than it has now. It doesn't take much to fly by someone's stream and say, hey, watch for a couple of minutes. If they're playing something you don't like, hey, quietly leave. That's fine. It's because we are family, we are brothers. That's why we follow each other in certain things and games. We all have the same interests, but those interests that we all share, we enjoy sharing experience with each other. Exactly. Yep. 100%. And it's like, right, making friends in the street. It's like, yep, I totally agree. And it's like Traylon said, yeah, we don't have all the same interest, but a bolder we don't all have the same interest, but the interest we do have, we share with each other, right? Like we all play COD. I mean, I don't have it yet, but we all play COD. We all jumped into the role play thing. Some people lost interest and left. That's fine. You know, everything is not going to be for everybody, but the things we do share and we do have in common, yeah, we're there with each other. We're enjoying each other's company, playing some games, shooting the shit, whatever. You know, it's it's more like, for me anyway, more of a comfort thing. I prefer to play with them than to play with randoms. No problem, Traylon. I mean, playing with randoms is not bad because that's how you make friends. But a lot more times, it becomes more of a nuisance and a problem than it becomes meeting a friend. So, honestly speaking, there's no one that I would take a proverbial bullet for in a community over these guys. There's nothing anyone can say to these guys that's negative that I won't interject myself in. It just won't happen. I mean, to be perfectly honest, for everyone that's watching here, I do podcasts to get shit off my chest. I do podcasts to help people. But most importantly, if I'm being perfectly honest, I do podcasts to roast motherfuckers that think they can't be roasted. I do podcasts when people get out of hand and they become keyboard warriors and they think they can stand the heat. That's why I do podcasts. And if you come for anyone that I'm close with or any of the communities that I'm a part of actively, then yeah, you're going to get a podcast. And for those of you that have my Twitter, like I said before, I used to be known as the voice of the voiceless. Now I'm going to be the voice of the bullied. If you bully people and I get wind of it and I find out who you are, you will get a podcast. No questions asked, no investigation needed. You will get a podcast. And I've been pretty tame since the whole RP podcast, you know. But don't let that tameness fool you. I still got that silver tongue. So I'm not saying I'm the baddest. I'm not saying I'm the most popular, but just understand something. Be careful when you come for Blackout, Redbeard, Traylon. We're gonna have to make one soon about Magical. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Just let me know when and where. I'm all for it. But yeah, be careful when you try to come after Redbeard, Blackout, Traylon, Inked Up Dad, the Tattoo Parlor. Um, and this new fucking server I'm in. I've liked servers before, but I really like this server. Don't say shit at all about Sundown City. Because if I get wind of it, you will get a podcast. As much as the administration likes to handle things diplomatically, some things cannot and will not be handled diplomatically. So, with that being said, this is what I do, right? When I was younger, I used to like to fight, you know. Couldn't really get in too much trouble back then because, I was a minor. Back then, the laws were different. But as an adult, you can't get in trouble for speaking your mind. So, with that being said, I've mastered the craft of chopping people down with words. And I don't just use that on anybody. The truth shall set us free. Amen, brother. I don't just use this art on anyone, you have to deserve it. You have to very well deserve it for me to rip you up verbally. And now, like I said, for those of you that know me personally and that's close to me, that know my personal situation, yeah, these podcasts, it's my me time. The GTA RP, it's my me time. This is my family away from real life. And not many people can say that they can hop online and have people that they can trust to go and talk to or to hang out with or to get some shit off your chest. The reason why I picked knowing your worth as this topics podcast is because, like I said, a lot of people, not even in relationships, just in life, period, a lot of people get bullied verbally, mentally, and emotionally, and they forget their worth. Shit may be lonely when you realize you have worth. Shit might be lonely. Motherfuckers might not want to deal with you no more. They might think you changed. They might think you feel like you're better than them. But guess what? Your worth is more important than any motherfucker being in your life, right? As long as you know you have a purpose on this earth, in this world, in the situation that you're in, in the job you're at, in the living situation you're in, whatever it may be, as long as you know that you have worth and there is a purpose that you are where you are, you don't need no fucking body. And that's just the truth of it. You want people, we all want people, but you don't need anyone but yourself. We all want love. We all want to be felt loved. We all want to be with someone that makes us feel special, that makes us feel important. We all want that. Do we need that? No, we don't. But it'll be nice to have. So for people saying, I can't be alone, I can't be alone, I can't be single, I can't be. You don't want to be single. You can definitely be single. You don't want to be single. Like me. I don't want to be single, but I am single. So, you make do. You know, you you start lifting 100-pound free weights for 2 hours. That's what you start doing. You fucking work 105 hours at work. That's what you do. You redirect your energy. Yes, I did say 105 hours. I worked 105 hours. But yeah, you you redirect your energy positively. Don't fucking go out punching random strangers and shit. That's a lot of fucking time, man. Yeah, well, I mean, when you're already scheduled for overtime and you have a GM that's worthless and you have to do your job and his job, yeah, it adds up. But it's a lot of things that people can do to survive whatever situation you may be going through. And I'm not putting down mental health or anything like that. I am by no means an advocate. I'm not a professional. I am not anything of the such. I know I've went through a few mental health issues in my past or whatever. But what I'm saying to those that do have mild mental health issues, that don't have no one to talk to, or feel like they're alone, my DMs are open. My socials are all right here. I shout out my socials in every video. And for those that are actually alone and they get told that they're worthless and they're nothing and they have no purpose, trust me, you do. You have a purpose. You're worth something. But it's up to you to find it. You can't look for your worth in someone else. That's why it's called self worth. You got to look inside yourself and see your worth and see your purpose and see that you're meant to be here for a reason. And yeah, shit's fucked up sometimes. You go through fucked up shit, fucked up situations. People do fucked up shit to you. But guess what? Through those fucked up times and those fucked up situations, you're getting stronger. It may not seem like it, but you're getting stronger. It's making you stronger. It's making you a better person. It's giving you a different outlook on life. It's giving you a different perspective on people. A lot of people will say I'm bitter when it comes to people and forming relationships with people. I'm not bitter. I'm cautious. And the reason why I'm cautious is because you give people the benefit of the doubt. Out the gate, the second you meet them, you give them the benefit of the doubt and they fuck you over time and time and time again. And people really expect you to just sit here and take it and not be leery of people and not be cautious and not wonder what people's motives are after a certain amount of time. So, I mean, it's really up to you and the person, right? Because I feel like this. There's people that's outgoing that have bubbly personalities that's, happy go lucky and oh well, if the situation doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's cool. I wish I could be like that. I do. But it takes me a while to warm up to people. It takes me a while to even believe that you're real. Mm-mm. So the thing about it is simply this, right? I will legitimately explain my thought process on the situation. And Redbeard, you can tell me if I'm fucking weird or if I'm doing too much or whatever, whatever you think of it. So here's my thing. Here's my thing, right? So here's how I think of it. I meet somebody, I feel them out. Like you said earlier, Redbeard, I'm a lot more wiser and a lot more opinionated. When I first met Redbeard and Blackout, I didn't talk too much. Biggest reason was because, biggest streamers I've ever met at that time, I didn't know what the fuck to say to them. I didn't know how to have a conversation with streamers that had an established community and an established following. I didn't know what the fuck to say. So, I just watched. But as time went on, I started listening to them, watching them, and I'm like, hey, these guys think just like I fucking think. So I started loosening up a little bit. But here's my steps for relationships with people. Observe, interact, observe again, open up a little bit more, And then once you fuck up, I just cut you off. There's no back and forth. There's no arguments. There's no, hey, why'd you do this? Right then and there. If you fuck up with me and I did nothing wrong, I've been nothing but a good person to you. I've been nothing but open to you, and you fuck me over. There's no conversations. It's over. Which is why I said people that know me, like really know me, if we have a falling out and I'm still talking to you a little bit after the falling out, then you should know eventually after I cool down, we gonna get there again. But if you do something to fuck me and I just stop talking to you altogether, like cold turkey, dead meat, no phone call answer, no phone call return, no social media presence. If you notice I take you off my social media, that should be your number one definite. There's no comeback from that. 100%. If I take you off my social media, we're not coming back. There's no get back. There's no, can we talk about it? No, no, no. And like a lot of people don't understand that when you feel betrayed by someone, you got to do what's right for you in that situation. You got to do what's right for your mental. You got to do what's right for your emotional. You can't sit here and say, well, if I cut them off, how would that affect them? Yeah, they going to feel fucked up if they're a real friend. Yeah, they're going to be hurt if they're a real friend. But guess what? They hurt you first, right? They fucked you over first, right? So how would you look just giving them a pass, letting them walk around saying, "Yeah, I did this to this person," and like because we friends, they forgave me after 2 days? No, 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 no. Everyone has consequences for their actions, and just because you friends, it should be no different. I'm more than happy to take my medicine for shit I do that's inappropriate. No problem. See, the problem with me is I feel like my punishments never fits the crimes. That's where I'm at with it. I have no problem accepting my consequences, but make it make sense. Make the consequences make sense. Make the consequences relevant to the crime. And for people that's sitting here saying, well, what crime is he talking about? There's a few people who know what crimes I'm talking about. I'm not gonna blast it out here on stream because, like I said, the wrong person watch this. Is I'm gonna have hell to pay just from the beginning part of it. But like, I'm not gonna make it worse for me. But yeah, the people that know my situation, they know how bad they fucked up. I give hell time for talking to them. Yeah, I mean, well, was it you or was it Blackout that said they don't believe in astrology? I think it was you. Um, I carved that up into either me being a victim of my astrology sign or me being a product of my mom. Because when my mom said she was done with you, there was nothing you can do to get her to change her mind. Like once my mom cut you off, she cut you off. Welcome back, Traylon. So I feel like that's more of a blessing and a curse, right? Because once I say I'm done with someone, I erase them from my mind. And it's like people look at me and be like, "What the fuck you mean you erased them from your mind?" Like I forget I know them. Like to that point, like I forget I know them. Like literally off of social media, delete their cell phone number. If not many people get pictures with me because I don't like taking pictures. But if there's any pictures with them, those are gone. Past text messages, gone, gone, just gone. I could then walk past you on the street, and I will walk right past you, won't say anything. Even if you say, "Hey, hey, hey, hey," I'll keep walking. And a lot of people say, "Well, that's really dickheadish of you." No, it's not. It's not, because at the same time, like I said in the beginning of the video, I let a lot of people repeatedly use me. Oh, okay, cool. Uh, DM in Discord. So I let a lot of people use me and abuse me over the years, and I let it slide because I had no sense of self worth. And a lot of people would say, "Oh wow, you suffered from depression back then." Nah, nah, it wasn't nothing about depression back then. It was constantly being told I wasn't shit by family. That wasn't depression. It was just drilled into my head that I wasn't shit. So I just took whatever treatment. I got you, Traylon. I just took whatever treatment that was thrown my way until I figured out that I did have self worth. There was a purpose for me. I did have a right to feel accepted and to feel loved and to feel appreciated. So a lot of people said I switched up once I realized that. Perfectly fine. If the people that were supposed to be in my life that cared about me and wanted me to be happy and healthy, then they should have understood that I needed to do what was right for me. Just like now, I gotta do what's right for me. I've cut one or two people off recently because they're not good for my fucking mental. They're not good for my emotional. Somewhere along the line in this situation that I'm in, I lost myself. Yet the fuck again. And now I have to find myself yet the fuck again. And then guess what? When I do find myself yet the fuck again, then that person's wanna come is gonna want to come back into my life. Yet again. Again, I sit here and honestly tell you guys that I'm gonna tell this person to get fucking bent. No, I can't. But I just have to cross that bridge when I come to it. You know? Like, I may be feeling some type of way now. I may feel differently then. Or I may feel differently than what I feel then now. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say what's gonna happen, but I know the fact of me working 105 hours, me lifting weights again, and just staying to myself and not dealing with anyone, I know eventually it's gonna click. And there will be discussions had. There will be outings planned, but I can't tell you what's gonna happen. I mean, no one can predict the future. But like I said before, I'm starting to know my worth. I just gotta find myself again and love myself the way I need to be loved. Plain and simple. With that being said, I am going to end this podcast here. So I want to thank Traylon. I appreciate you, brother, always. Redbeard, appreciate you. Blackout, appreciate you. Hot Piccadilly, thank you for stopping by. Um, Chevy, thank you for the lurk. Appreciate you. Uh, is there anyone else? I think that's everyone. Quick shout outs to the sponsors. Swift Lifestyles. Great drink. I love it. Made stand out. Clothing line. Semi Christian. Um, Action Blacktop. Newest sponsor. They are a paving masonry stone company, and they'll even come do work for you, Redbeard, out in Oklahoma if you call them. So, Action Blacktop. Appreciate you guys. Um, Next podcast, let's say Friday. Next podcast is Sunday. Yep, Sunday. Uh, Maybe a Truth Seekers podcast, maybe not. Maybe with my brother, maybe not. But there'll definitely be a podcast. Um, be on the lookout for some GTA streams. I'm gonna start streaming that again. Um, Actually, I'm gonna fly into my new city after this, and I hold on, trying to okay, and yeah, appreciate you guys. We're gonna send the love over to Subite. So we're gonna send love to Subite. I thought she was streaming. Oh yeah, she is streaming. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, we'll see you soon. 1:30 my time, Redbeard. So yeah, you guys have a great night. I appreciate you guys. Much love always. And like I said, socials are always open if you need me. Anyone needs me. So yeah, have a good night, guys. Appreciate you. Laters.